Our solution then to the problem of having to rely on the logical fallacy of affirming the consequent in science, I gave you a hint at it. If you remember, 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 equals 85. That's sort of my little analogy for what we call abductive reasoning. It's not really a third type of reasoning, it's sort of a combination of inductive and deductive reasoning. What happens in inductive reasoning, or sorry, in abductive reasoning, is that you actually use deductive reasoning from many specific observations, like inductive reasoning, many observations, but now you're relying on different observations. And you're seeing that the different observations all point to the same general conclusion. Okay. I know that's a little confusing, but I'll get to it, or I'll explain it. Now, each argument on its own, if you're affirming the consequent, is fallacious. And therefore, each argument on its own gives 0% certainty. Those are all my zeros up here. But what you're doing is by putting multiple arguments together that all point to the same conclusion, you actually build up an inductive argument that gives you a high degree of certainty. Okay, so let me run over this little chart for you. You might want to copy it down. Inductive reasoning. What kind of observations do we make in inductive reasoning? Well, we make many observations, but they're all the same phenomenon. Over and over again, we observe the speed of light. Over and over again, we observe electrical charges interacting. And then we interpret those observations on the basis of the assumption that a phenomenon observed many times will always be observed. We're assuming the universe is an ordered place. And from that, the conclusion we come up with is a general concept, but it's a fairly limited general concept. It's a law or a constant that tells us only one small part of the story of the universe. Deductive reasoning, on the other hand, remember, involves only a single observation, but that single observation must be combined with a general concept. And the conclusion we come up with is another limited fact. Okay, so limited fact plus general concept gives us new limited fact. Abductive reasoning is different, but similar to both of them. In abductive reasoning, we actually make many observations like in inductive reasoning, but it's many different phenomena. And then for each of those observations, we assume they're the minor premise in a deductive argument to see if the same major premise will affirm the consequent in each case. And we repeat this many times to build up an inductive argument. And at the end of it all, I know it's confusing right now, but at the end of it all, we come up with a broad general concept, which we call a hypothesis or a theory. And we'll see the difference for those between those two in a moment. Okay, so in the next video, I will give you a couple of examples that will hopefully make abductive reasoning a little clearer for you.